Wagon sports fans, and as man like troops would have said, welcome back, welcome back, welcome. No, wait. I know that troop say. Troop say, back again. Yeah, sorry, I get it mixed up, people. Um, so who say welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another. Ryan said that. Hmm. Regardless. Welcome back to another very special episode. I'm Joe and this are that Sports TV, the place you guys come to get the best, most interesting and riveting sports topics, discussions, and debates on the internet, people. And as you can see, my there I represent Meadowbrook High School, the crest up on that side. If anybody who know me, them are gonna say that where I did go school first. That was my first high school. We're going to play a whole heap of sports and we excel and we a star boy. You get me? I say, and we got Arden to finish it off. We have to get some diversity and we have to step in the uptown. And we always did hear say, Arden did have the body set a girl them. So we decided to make a change. But anyways, that's tangential. Rush been a killing me with video from what day and me did obviously we do a thing, but me I say no. You get me? I say a 2 hour show and him alone can't do work. So I have to do some work. And we're gonna talk about right now, the squad will just dropped. So as you guys know, in February the Reggae Boys will be doing their what seems to be annual football series versus Trinidad and Tobago or regional neighbors in CONCACAF, and especially in the CFU. Both Trinidad and Jamaica are two of the stronger nations in Caribbean football, and for the last, couple of years, we've been playing just a series outside of a FIFA window, in order for both teams to kind of get themselves ready for the upcoming set of fixtures. Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica both have World Cup qualifiers. They both are trying to get to the Gold Cup. So there's a lot going on for both these teams, and they use each other as preparation to see what is going to come, right? So we have that fixture. Obviously, we've made many videos speaking about how we feel about these matches outside of the FIFA date, the benefit that they have. And I generally am a fan, as much football as one can play, why not play, and this is an opportunity for our, I don't know if you'd still call him new coach, Steve McLaren, to get a better look at the local contingency of players and to see who is next. Because me personally, and I still maintain this belief that once an individual is playing locally, that they're not yet of the ilk to represent Jamaica. But who knows? There might be individuals playing in Jamaica who have the potential to go on and play for Jamaica in the future. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for McLaren to, set eyes on individuals to watch for whenever it is that they do make their big move out of the country, they can become a part of his program, a part of his team to get Jamaica to this World Cup. Yeah. Anyways, this is just going to be a quick video, speaking about the squad, speaking about my surprises, speaking about my expectations. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So there's this thing, and I'm going to start off with the goalkeepers first. Generally we'd list the whole squad, but I'm going to compartmentalize it and go position by position, to give you guys just a brief synopsis of what I think and what I expect. I'll only make mention of a few of these players of note that that I want to speak about, but I'd be lying if I was to say I'm familiar with this full contingency of players because I'm not necessarily the most avid of JPL fan. But I do know a lot of these players. And I'm gonna give them a 2 cents. See what I think. All right, so we start off with the goalkeepers. In net, and I think has solidified himself as the best Jamaican goalkeeper that plays locally right now. Shaquan Davis. He's into the squad. Benjamin Williams, Joshua Grant, and Jamali Waite. Right? So 4 goalkeepers. That's something that we've been doing recently. Curious as to the reason why we we started to include 4 goalkeepers, and I guess it's to bring more people into the setup, to incorporate more people into the national team, and to give more people an opportunity, especially the younger ones, to get a look into the program and how it is to be an international footballer. So let's delve deeper into these goalkeepers, right? And courtesy of MG Sports, him have a graphic that is actually a bit more informative than the JFF graphic, giving us the squads and where the players play for. Because somebody like me who is not necessarily extremely familiar with the JPL, it can help me out. So apparently Benjamin Williams, a Portmore United goalkeeper, I've never seen him in and around national program before, so he must be doing good work locally in order to get there. Shaquan Davis, we know of Shaquan Davis, Mr. Shaquan Davis make a ratted save a couple of weeks ago, which was incredible. I hope to see Shaquan Davis continue to take his career in strides and make a move out of the country, so that then, in my eyes at least, he can validate being constantly called up for Jamaica. But as it stands right now, definitely the top shot stopper in the nation. Joshua Grant. So Joshua Grant was a surprise, and he was the first name that caught my eye. Um, and I immediately wanted to make this video as soon as I saw his inclusion. So Joshua Grant is an individual that we've been following from the under 17 level. He's been around the program. Obviously, I do a national. He's been around the national team program for a while. Coming in the under 17 programs and working with Tuane Lynch. I saw the potential in him. I saw the talent. He was one of the younger ones on that under 17 team a couple of years ago, and continued to grow in strides. He got bigger, got stronger. I saw him recently playing with the under 20s, and he really did show great improvement. The Jamaican goalkeeping pool, it possesses a lot of young talent, a lot of people that I'm definitely looking out for. As I mentioned, Tuane Lynch. Tuane Lynch is a very good goalkeeper. And then we have a young Jamali Waite, who, as goalkeepers go, still very young. Hibbert is another one who I saw who I'd love to see more of. And Kanaya Boyce Clark, who is but only, I think, 21 years old. So the Jamaican goalkeeping pool, what can I say? Our future is bright. Do I see an heir apparent to Andre Blake? Is there somebody that I can identify that will go on and become one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the region for a decade? I'm not sure. I don't see it yet. And I'm hoping that Kanaya Boyce Clark can, put himself in a position where he's playing a lot of first team football, maybe the championship, and can start to grow from stride to stride and become that Andre Blake level type of goalkeeper. Jamali Waite, very good. He's been very good for the nation, but he's still a couple of levels below Andre Blake. And Joshua Grant, the young 19-year-old, I think, is one with a lot of potential. He's in an MLS2 setup right now, looking to go on and become professional, looking to go on and to stake his claim as a full-time professional footballer, as a full-time senior footballer. And he's gotten his first senior international call-up. Do I expect to see Jamali Waite play versus Trinidad? Not sure. Would I like to see him play versus Trinidad? Absolutely. I think it would be a good experience to get the young lad in to allow him to feel what senior team football is like. But I really like this inclusion. And the final goalkeeper to get called up, Jamali Waite. Jamali Waite is one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the US second division football right now. The USL. For Jamaica, what I can say is Jamali Waite has been nothing short of excellent. He's come in when he's called upon, and he's never put a foot wrong. He looks technically sound, comfortable on his feet. His handling has been good, and he's made big saves in big moments for this national team. And Jamali Waite, I think, is right now or steadfast number 2 behind Andre Blake. And if something tragic was supposed to happen where Andre Blake would not be able to play for us for a couple of games or for a long period of time, I'd be comfortable knowing that Jamali Waite can step up in his stead and put on good performances and contribute well in our efforts to qualify for the World Cup and to probably get a Gold Cup medal, to get a Nations League medal, so on and so forth. I think Jamali Waite is a solid number 2, and his inclusion into this team really excites me because obviously he's at the level where, not to say anybody's position in the national team is safe, because the spot in that 23 should never be taken for granted. But I think Jamal Waite is one of our core players, though not a starter. One of the players that, is an automatic selection for this national team. He's that highly rated by me, at least. So the fact that he, made himself available for this call up, it's not a FIFA window. He's in preparation for the beginning of his season. The fact that he made himself available to come down here and to play football, to be a part of the Reggae Boys team, I think is big. I really appreciate it, and I definitely love to see love to see what he has to offer. Um, if I was supposed to go through this team based on what I see, in my opinion, obviously I'm not the coach, I'm not McLaren, but I think Jamali Waite, if he starts, which I don't think he'll start or play both games, but I have to assume that he will start one. I think whichever game he plays in, he wears the captain's armband for me. He's the most experienced player on this team as it relates to national team football, and I think considerably the best player on this team. Obviously one of the defenders, Richard King, might have something to say about that, but I do believe that Jamali Waite's level and pedigree just that much higher than Richard King's. So I think Jamali Waite goes on to captain this squad. And I'm curious to see when the time comes. But I think Jamal Wade goes on to captain this squad. He's the best player on this team, and I'm happy about his inclusion. So those are the 4 goalkeepers. People in the comment section, tell me what you think about the goalkeepers, and tell me what you're expecting from our 4 goalkeepers, and who do you expect to get in? It's just 2 games, 4 goalkeepers. And to the next segment, we move on to the defenders. As I said, people, simply because this is outside of a FIFA window, you won't be seeing the glamorous names such as Latibodier. Imagine glamorous and then Latibodier. That's oxymoron, but we're not talking about that right now. We won't be seeing the Ethan Pinnocks, though Ethan Pinnock isn't really fit right now playing in football in England. We won't be seeing the Mason Holgates. We won't be seeing the Damian Lowe's. We won't be seeing any of our top level central defenders or defenders on a whole, simply because it's outside of a FIFA window, and as such, the clubs aren't obligated to release the players, nor would we call the players to take that long trip from Europe or from North America to come in and to play in these, for lack of a better term, meaningless friendlies. So the defenders are as follow. Kyle Ming, top defender in the JPL, playing his trade at Mount Pleasant. Richard King, who in my opinion I think is the best player in the JPL. Gadiel Irvin, Robina Gordon, Sule McKellar, Stefan Young, Christopher Ainsworth, Fitzroy Cummins, Javon Lang, and is that Malik Howell? All right, so those are the defenders. It's a bit embarrassing that I'm not familiar with the local based players, but what can I say, people? I'm not a massive fan of our local Premier League. But I do know some of these names. One name to note that I will start on is Robina Gordon. Robina Gordon still very much a schoolboy footballer as he currently attends Mona High School, recently getting done with the Manning Cup. One of the standout players in that competition, if not the standout players in the competition. And somebody I think that we are going to be hearing his name for a long time in the future. Not necessarily stoutly built as a defender, but his technical ability and his IQ and his decision making makes up for that in every single sense and form. A top level defender is good timing, very good tackling, fearless individual, also athletic, technically gifted, can play various different positions along the back line, but I personally prefer him at that centre back position. Very good player, very good call up. I'm impressed with McLaren not being shy about including younger players, and I mean really young players, into this squad, giving them a taste of senior team football and grooming them for what is to come. Sule Makala, he's been in and around the squad. He gets in these local camps. Sometimes he's called up as a replacement wing back when needs be. One of the older players in this squad. And I've already seen as much as I need to see from a player like Sule Makala. So his inclusion does not necessarily excite me because I know that he's there. He will come out. He'll put in a shift. He'll perform well. He'll probably get an assist. He'll probably even score the odd goal because he does create and gets forward from the position that he plays in. But I don't think there's nothing he can do or there's anything. Sorry, to all of the grammar police that he can do to really stake a claim into the Jamaica first team, as this people is a Jamaica B or C team. Let's be honest. Kyle Ming is somebody that I've heard tons about. A lot of people want to see Kyle Ming in and around national team. Apparently, he's a very impressive defender, and he's getting yet another chance to take a crack at it. Curious to see how good he looks. Richard King is a name that goes without saying. Richard King of this team sheet is the only person that is at this point. I think we can consider him to be a mainstay into the national A team. And when Jamal Wade isn't wearing the captain's armband, I expect Richard King to be wearing it. Richard King is, especially in relation to his peers in this squad, just sheer class. And I think he's definitively the best locally based player. I do, however, hold firm on my stance that individuals plying their trade in Jamaica should automatically be ineligible, barring some extraneous circumstances, should automatically be rendered ineligible for the national team. Obviously, I'm not the one selecting the team. And Richard King is one of those players who, if anybody was supposed to get selected in the national team from the JPL, it would be him, and it has been him. And you know what? There has been times when he's been thrusted into the spotlight, on the big stage, under the lights, and he's performed. Most recently against the United States in an away fixture in the Nations League, where he came into the game and he injected life. He steadied the back line. He helped us going forward, and he really did look in that particular moment like he belongs. In my opinion, Richard King often looks like he doesn't belong more so than he does belong. But whenever Richard King comes onto the field and he's having a good game, he really, really looks good and he looks like he belongs. Still a relatively young player and still has plenty of time to continue working on his weaknesses, honing his ability, and becoming one of the top central defenders for this national team. Obviously, there's work, and I really do believe that Richard King needs to get that contract to go overseas where he can be exposed to more resources and to better coaching and to better opportunity to improve his game, to become what I know he can become. But as it stands right now on this team, the pool of available players, Richard King stands out greatly. And I'm excited to see what he has to offer. Christopher Ainsworth is another young player who I'm very excited to see. As I said, people are not necessarily abreast of the JPL, and as such, Christopher Ainsworth, in the capacity of a defender, is not necessarily where I'm familiar with him playing, because when I was familiar with Christopher Ainsworth, he was a Manning Cup player, playing for Calabar, and he was just this relentlessly skilled player who cannot be disrupted. He has the ability to beat everybody. He makes good decisions, and just a technically gifted player. So seeing him listed amongst the defenders is interesting to me. But from what I know about his raw talent and his ability, Christopher Ainsworth is another good inclusion based on the pool. And there are a lot of these other players that I'm not necessarily familiar with. But as I said, people, this squad isn't going to be the squad that is going to make waves for this national team. And if I'm going to be even more brutally honest, the amount of players from this squad that will possibly ever make a Jamaica A team is very, very, very slim, which is why I tend to focus on the younger players when doing these squad breakdowns. And we move on to the midfielders: Dwayne Atkinson, Shamar Watson, Joshan Anglin, Romeo Guthrie, Demario Phillips, Nathaniel Howe, and Daniel Green. Once again, some familiar names in the middle of the park. and it's so consistent with Jamaica's midfield. It always looks so disproportionate to the defense. You know, it's a staunch reflection on the state of Jamaica's football right now. The fact that we have such a small amount of midfielders. But anyways, Dwayne Atkinson, aka Busy, is the prototypical Jamaican wicked man. He has the ability to be a live wire in any fixture, a very skillful player, very aggressive player, a player that can score goals, a player that can create opportunities. He's another player, however, that time is ticking. And the longer he's in the JPL, the less and less I believe in his ability and in his place to be a part of this national team. What can I say? There's a reason why you're still playing in Jamaica. But I'm excited to see what Dwayne Atkinson has to offer in these upcoming fixtures. I do think he gets on the field, and I do think he has the ability to make an impact. And I'd love to see him go on to make an impact, helping us win these matches. But as it relates to the management of his career, I want to see these skillful and talented players up and out of the nation. Being in Jamaica is not helping the ball of them. And if them can't move, it's either they aren't being managed well or they aren't good enough to make a move, which simply means they aren't good enough to play in our national team. What can I say? Joshua Anglin is another player who, he played professionally for a while. He's back in Jamaica, one of the standout players in this JPL. We've seen him around the national team. He's gotten his chances. He's not necessarily made good on his opportunities when playing with the A team. Another player has the ability, has the size, has the skill, the football IQ to make good out of football. There must be something lacking while he's here playing in the JPL, playing his trade. Another player that I'd love to see make the move in order to show me and prove to me that he's a valid squad member in our national senior A team. As it stands, definitely warrant a call up in this team. I'm curious to see what Mr. Anglin has to offer. Romeo Guthrie. Romeo Guthrie is somebody that we know. We've done other videos with him. And this season, he's been having an outstanding season. Romeo Guthrie is another player, coming into his prime, pushing closer to 30 than he's 20 years old. A top level JPL player, an absolute outstanding JPL player. He's made himself a comfortable living playing in the JPL. But as I said, to play for this Jamaica team, we want more. But Romeo Guthrie is definitely a player that I will be looking out for. Hopefully he shows out and continues to progress and continues to play well locally. Make us see if he can get going. 1 second, people. I just lose the graphic with the squad. Sorry about that. All right, and Daniel Green. I'm a fan of Daniel Green. I've been following Daniel Green since under 20 days. I like how he plays. I like his ability. A skillful player. A player who can get forward, who can create, and who can even score goals. This phenomena where these really, really good players, or in my opinion, outstanding players, aren't making the next step professionally needs to be studied, as Serpi would say. But Daniel Green is a player that I'm curious to see what he have to offer in these upcoming fixtures. Demario Phillips been around the team on the older side. I think we know what he has to offer. He will be one of the leaders of this particular roster. Curious to see what he have to offer. But as it relates to his transition into the A team, I personally don't necessarily see that happening. And let's move on to the forwards. So we have Kimoni Bailey, Raheem Edwards, Chanel Thomas, Warner Brown, Ronaldo Biggs, Jamarla Calvin, and Kimani Auburn. All locally based players. I've been seeing waves. Ronaldo Biggs, scoring some big goals in the Premier League when his team needs him, getting a look in. Hopefully these guys make good on their opportunity. But from these forward lines, or from these players, including the forward line, I don't see any of them really scratching the surface into the A team. I don't really see any of them making a claim to say, hey, we're going to go on and we're going to go out and play official fixtures for the Reggae Boys. We're going to play in World Cup qualifiers. We're going to play in Gold Cups. We're going to go to the World Cup with the team. We're going to go to the Gold Cup with the team. I don't necessarily see any of these forwards listed having any of that type of potential, but I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. So that's the squad. You know, I think it's as good a squad as we could field considering the circumstances. I'm happy with some of the younger inclusions, and I'd have loved to see more younger inclusions. But I'm definitely happy with the chance that Steve McLaren is giving to a few of the youngsters, not only locally but within the diaspora as well. You know, I'm curious to see how this team comes together, and I'm curious to see that particular gem, you know, the diamond in the rough that's highlighted in these fixtures. And it's just exciting. So we go up against Trinidad. Should be an even match considering the level of our team that we fielded. You know, excited to see. You know, as I said, Joshua Grant does he get in. Robina Gordon's another good one. You know, I like Daniel Green. You know, players like this that I'm excited to see represent the country and go out and be good. Obviously, people more so have a breakdown of the particular players. This video was me analyzing this roster and seeing who from this particular roster has the ability to transition into the A team when the big matches comes around. And clearly it won't be much because Jamaica, for all intents and purposes, we do have our core, I'd say 15 to 21 players, which we will rely upon when it really, really, really counts. And I think these fixtures gives McLaren a chance to not only try and identify those periphery players to fill the outstanding roster spots, but to identify players for the future who will hopefully go on and start to make waves in this national team within the future. And for that reason, I don't mind these games. But are these games very important in the grand scheme of things? Will they help in our preparation for World Cup qualifiers, for Gold Cup qualifiers? I don't think so. Will they be fun? You know, should the fans buy the tickets and go out and support these Reggae Boys? Absolutely. You know, I'm curious to see how we perform. I do want to get a win. And I do want to see how these boys will play. But in the grand scheme of things, what happens versus Trinidad and Tobago won't be a reflection of anything that is to come with our national program. And I'm not putting much weight on these particular fixtures. Anyways, people, that was my breakdown of the squad. You know, I'm happy that Jamaica will be playing football. I'm excited that McLaren will get a chance to go back on the field. Can't wait to see what go on. With that being said, though, people, be sure to like the video. Leave a comment. You know, speak to me about your thoughts on the squad. Tell me how me I eat that because me I fight out the JPL. It's fine. You know, I'm here for it. And share the video to at least 10 people. And ensure to get us 6 subscribers. Because if each and every one of you guys can manage to do that, you know how many subscribers that gets by the end of the day, people. But with that being said, people, I go end the video and make some whole lot more video for you because we're back on the grind. You see me? But this is That Sports TV for now.